Hi there folks, it's Jennifer Foster here again from the Energy Dynamic Model Academy, the place to come along to and learn about how we truly work, which will mean you will be able to leave your mind trap, really connect to who you are and start to have a life full of meaning and purpose, doing what you're supposed to be doing. I'm going to do a few videos for the next couple of weeks or so, looking at the world around us, but using the energy dynamic model towers to really start to see what is going on and what we can do as people, as humans, about this. And I'd like to start with the very favourite theme of mine, which is the mind. Now, as some of you know, if you do study at the Energy Dynamic Model Academy, which I do urge you all to do, as you all know, one of the real principles of this idea and really of understanding life around you is to realize and appreciate and buy into the idea that the mind and who you are and what you feel are completely different things. Okay. The mind is attuned in a certain way, and the who you are and feels are attuned in a different way. Now then, depending on where you are, for example, living in your mind doing mind things, or being in your feel doing who you are things, your experience of life will be completely different. Now, to remain a true human being, you really need to know that who you are and your feels and your real world are where we need to be most of the time. If we're there most of the time, we do our thing, we have ideas, do our thing, go along our day, and then all the mind does is receive this information, process it, and that's it. Who you are in the now is what makes your decisions, and you are free from emotional past, future projections, etc., etc. What happens when you're in that state of being, which is in the now, being who you are, feeling stuff, experience stuff as it happens? You are collecting up good feelings, you are becoming resilient, and you can start to use your imagination to connect with others and to create a better world, actually. That is really how we are supposed to be operating. However, what happens is that for various reasons, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, often we leave who we are, what we feel in the now, and we often go and live up in our mind. And as soon as we live in our mind, everything changes. Now, nearly all of my work is about this. You can study online with the Energy Dynamic Model Academy. You can buy the book, The Complete Works of the Energy Dynamic Model, which has evidence in it, research in it, exercise in it, a textbook in it, and a quite deep dive into the nature of human energy, which you won't find anywhere. You won't find anywhere else. So most of my work is about this, but I want to really start to look at it in reference to things that are going on around us, because I think that will be helpful so you can see the relevance of this. Now, most of us are living in our mind, okay? We're living up here. We're kind of a little bit disconnected from who we are, if we even know who we are. We're not usually gathering up feelings to the degree that we could be, and we're often in the past or in the future, and we're kind of living, as I said, in our mind. Now, there are a lot of problems with this, and I'm going to go through them, but I'm going to start with the example of people who are using visualizations and vision boards and goal setting to achieve. Now, I've been following a lady on YouTube called, I'll just get her name for you, called, sorry, bear with me a second, called Melissa Dougherty, who is looking at this from a Christian point of view. And I find the work she's done really interesting and useful. She's done a lot of research into what she calls, or is called, new thinking. Now, we all have heard of New Age, but most of us haven't heard of new thinking. And new thinking is something that I have been talking about for years and years without knowing that's what it's called. So new thinking is very much about the idea that by our thoughts can create our reality, etc. Our thoughts can, and our mind creates reality. Now, she looks at this from a Christian point of view, but I've got huge crossovers with her, even though I'm not looking at this from a Christian point of view. And I'll tell you, one of the main crossovers we have is that we are both realizing from different perspectives that if you're in your mind and if you're using your mind thoughts to create stuff, that in a sense hasn't got you or your feelings in it. All right, it's you in your mind thinking for a target. And believe me, because it's in what I call the mind zone, this does not have you in it or your feelings. Now, this might sound a bit of a strange construct, but bear with me, all right? In the mind, there is nothing, no thing in the mind. Can you see, if we have thoughts, they aren't real, as in they're not a physical manifestation of something. They're a thought. There is nothing attached to that thought. And if we try and attach stuff to thoughts, we leave our who we are, we leave our feel, and we may well achieve our affirmations and our thoughts. We may well achieve them, but when we do achieve them, we'll still be in that zone. And because we're still in that mind zone, we might have achieved the success, but believe it or not, we won't feel much. We'll experience an emotion because it will be, hooray, I've won, hooray, I've won. But that emotional, hooray, I've won, I've achieved it, can you believe me here? But that emotion overrides your feeling of contentment. The feeling of contentment is completely different. You find feels when you're in the now, who you are, you have an empty mind, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But we feel we are in the real world, we are collecting up our good feelings, we are being who we are, and success or not success, that duality state, failure, success, does not exist, because all we're doing is we're being, and we're doing what we are here for, and so we feel full of meaning, purpose, etc. Once you go in your mind, you literally cannot be on two different radio wavelengths. Now, what you can do is find out who you are, look at what you're good at, your talents, for example. So say I'm good at gardening, I love gardening. I can then have an idea of, yes, I would like to do gardening, and then put into action steps that will get me nearer to that. Like, for example, I could do a gardening course, I could buy a lawnmower, I could do leaflets around the neighbourhood to do gardening. I need to do actions. Now I know what I am doing, and then I do it. But my mind's role in that is just to process it. Just to process that. It is not setting the goal of being a gardener. I don't need the mind to set the goal of being a gardener, because I already know I am a gardener. I can identify with who I am. I don't need to think about the goal of being a gardener, because I am already a gardener. So whatever your meaning and purpose is, you are already that. You are already that. So you just need to understand that's what you are, and then do actions that feed into that. On a slight note here, I've got a fantastic game coming out before Christmas 2024, which has cards in it. it has a little tower in it, it has games in it that will show you exactly how to do this. And I think a lot of people by mistake are unfortunately going all mindy when really they don't have to even do that. They just have to know who their art is, know that, and then do actions. And your mind is clear because your mind is receiving the information you are gathering up in the real world that you know. So I know I'm sitting here doing a video. I know that. I don't have to have a goal about that. I know I'm doing that. And I'm sitting here doing that, and I'm feeling my feelings. And let's get the tower out. This is the bag made by another Melissa in Kenya, who the energy dynamic model is supporting making these bags. But here we are. This is the towers. So where's the feelings? Here we are. Meaning and purpose. Meaning and purpose. So what part of you creates that meaning and purpose? Let's have a look at the stick self. The part of you that creates meaning and purpose is your T. What's your T? That's your talent. That's what you're good at naturally. That's what you're here to do. And if you're not doing that, you won't know who you are. You won't feel meaning and purpose. And guess what you have to do? Your brain will say, oh no, I'm not feeling meaning and purpose. I'm struggling. Who am I? So the brain then boots you up into the mind. So then you have to find your identity, meaning, purpose, belonging, and all that sort of thing from outside things, from your role. But little do you know that is already in you. So you don't need to have a role, in my case, a role as a gardener, because I know I'm a gardener. Okay, I know I'm a gardener. So I don't need a role to affirm that, because I'm already doing it. So what's all the fuss? Now the problem is, and this is why I'm making this video really, is that I have people in the Energy Dynamic Model Academy at the moment, and we're discussing this, and it's a really good conversation, is that all you need is a mind here. This is the mind. This is how tiny the mind is. To get success, that mind has to be clear. Okay? You'll notice the feelings have a colour. They're feels, they're real. Mind is not real. Mind has nothing in it. It has to be clear. Why does it have to be clear? So what you are gathering up in this real world, minute by minute, enables you to focus on that, enables you to make a good decision. That good decision information is sent up to the mind, and the mind actions it without any triggers, any procrastination. It's not in the past, it's not in the future, it's in the now. And it's like, okay, Jennifer, I am being a gardener. I'm going out there now to prune a rose. Mind, sort that out. And then my mind helps me get up, go in the garden and find the pruners and snip it, because my mind is clear. By definition, if you set a goal, by definition, you have to go in your mind, because the goal is in the future. So there's a gap between you being that and it. So there's a gap. There's a gap. Whereas if I know I'm that already, because I know what my stick self is. Where's my stick self gone? I know what my stick self is. And spoiler alert, we're developing new stick selves as well, with symbols on rather than letters. But anyway, there's more to come on that one. But if I know who I am being who I am. I just need a clear mind to action my decisions. And when I'm doing that, I'm in a different construct to the mind construct, which is all often about societal preferences, affirmations, etc. Your feelings do not live in your mind. And this is where I overlap with the Christians in a sense, because very important to stay human, very important to stay human. We as humans create feelings. When we're in our mind, we cannot create feelings. We cannot be human. We cannot be emphatic. We think we are being. So I'll give you a very good example. I'm thinking I want to be kind. How can I be kind? I'll give money to a charity. So I give money to a charity thinking I'm being kind. But actually, my action, which is what my brain picks up, is not being kind. My action is giving money to a charity. So that doesn't create a good feeling for me, because my brain can't pick up a good feeling, because I just think about my action as being giving money. Now, I might know in my mind I've given money to a charity. So in my mind, that will be a poster sitting saying I've given money to a charity. And if anyone ever says to me, you're unkind, I'll say, ha, no, I'm not. I give money to a charity. Okay, this is how it all works. But actually, have I shown love and care in the real world, in the now, to either myself or other people? Actually, I haven't. I haven't been bad, but I haven't been good, because I've just given money to a charity. That's an action of giving money to a charity. That actual action of me putting my credit card, probably, sadly, not even cash, into that person's hand in the charity, has not created a good feel. A good feel would have been if I'd given the person a hug, if I'd stroked a dog, if I'd shown care to my parents, if I'd shown love to my child. That's feeling, that's doing, and that's being, and that's what your brain collects. Giving money to a charity does not create that feeling. Now, I talk all about this in my book. So it is a bit of a concept. It is a bit of a different concept, but I also apply that to other things. I apply it to, for example, and this is in the book, look at childcare, okay? If I look after my child, I get good feelings for that because I am looking after my child, right? If I give my child to a childminder to be looked after, I lose out on those good feelings of looking after my child. I've probably done that because I want to go to work to earn money. But money doesn't give you a feeling. Okay, money has a different function, and that again is, I discussed that in the book. Okay, I discussed that in the book. So this is the beginning of a series of videos looking at this sort of thing, because I think it's really important. So what I'd like you to take away from this video is that the reason that it's a bad idea to be in your mind and set goals is partly because, again, I overlap with the Christians here, you cannot be human in your mind because your mind doesn't have feelings. Your mind isn't human. Your mind is just there to process stuff. You're here to be human in the world, and we can talk about that a lot more in other videos. That's point one. But point two, which is more relevant to this video, is there's no need to go into your mind. There's no need to have a vision board. There's no need to have a goal, because all that stuff that you feel like is you, that you want to achieve because it's you, you are already it. So you just need to be in the moment and work out your action. What do I have to do today to create a good feeling of love, care, this, that, and the other? Because it will be different every day. It will be different in every situation. How can I show my talent? How can I do what I really enjoy doing? How can I make sure people understand me? How can I express what I know? How can I show the world that I have love and care, feelings about it? What do I do? So you need to do that yourself, because that's in you. That's in you. You need to work that out. Sit down, draw it, get a power tower, get an energy dynamic model game. You'll find what that looks like. Then you have a clear mind, because you know your mind isn't working hard, because you know. You then have a clear mind to put into place some actions that your mind, because it's clear, can then bang, bang, bang. No procrastination, no doubts, no fear, no emotion attached to it. Emotion is all in the mind. If you're not in your mind, if you're doing your thing, step after step after step, you don't even go up into your mind because you're doing it. Your mind is just going to process it. So That's one of a few reasons why it's a good idea not to go into the mind, but that's the one I would like to leave with you today. If you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe, please tell other people. Take a look at the website www.energydynamicmodel.com. We have online courses, we have free classes, so you can jump on there, find out more about this, find out who you are, find out how to keep out of your mind, find out how to understand this, how feelings and emotion work, etc. And keep an eye out as well for this game, which will be coming out hopefully before December 2024, that you'll be able to buy, have yourself, work yourself out, play games with your family, play games with your friends, get your children on board of it, so we all start to begin to live our true self that we're here to be living, and just our mind is just processing this rather than controlling us and us trying to manifest something that actually is already there. Okay, you don't have to manifest anything because it's already there, and to try and do so is it's a misdirection of where you need to focus. So much more on this now much more on this later. As I said, subscribe, leave a comment, hope to see you soon, and thank you very much.